With the Maria Nerl rerun, we've officially kickstarted our Casimir's event spree, though with Pinus Sylvestris, we'll be taking a little break from the fact that this is a horse-dominated landscape. Halloween skins? Halloween skins? This is not a drill, it's time to get your Halloween skins. We'll be getting the 3 original Halloween skins on rerun, as well as this Granny skin, all of them costing $18 and thus having special effects. There are 4 new Halloween skins. Flix is in the event shop, thus technically being considered free. The design of it is whatever, but her droid being a ghost is the cutest thing. And while I'm personally neutral on the splash art, the sprite is actually adorable. I don't know how this one fits into the meta-narrative of the other skins. Maybe she's just like vlogging whatever's going down in this mansion from afar. That sounds pretty true to character. Snow Sant is the 15 cost of this batch, not having any special effects, but god having such cute art. This straight up looks like a game poster and I love it so much. Apparently Nori ZC drew this, and while I knew they were the artists behind Snow Sant, this is just so different from their usual, in terms of the softer shapes and toned down colors. We love to see artistic versatility. Shamare gets an 18 cost skin, and she seems to be a little older here. Definitely taller than in her base art. This is giving off peak creepy child in a haunted mansion vibes, which I'm sure is what they were going for considering the overall theme of these Halloween skins. The atmosphere of the splash art is really nice, and the special effects tie in greatly with the butterflies from it and some more ethereal purple tones. And Blemishine skin? This is one of the best skins in the entire game. Both her costume and just the art is so intricate and detailed, I'm blown away. But it's definitely made my expectations for this year's Halloween skins go way up. Come on, Hypergriff, I trust you. I know you'll make something great. Everything about this is beautiful. The effects are also so gorgeous, and her third skill especially, like, wow, this is so good it should be illegal. Everything about this line of skins is great, and I'm loving this trend of Halloween skins tying together in some way. Phantom being the lord of a haunted mansion and the other units being Ghostbusters, this being a full-on mansion exploration game in which all the skins literally link together, with not only the characters themselves, but Christine as well. Man, I love the skins in this game. This is a mini event, meaning it lasts a week, and you can farm the event shop currency from any stage that costs sanity other than annihilations, so it's nothing too intensive. But anyways, let's get on to the units.
レッドパイン騎士団、アッシュロックことグレイナティです。ロドスに受け入れていただき、ありがとうございます。
Important reminder, I'll be talking about both units with their stat increases from being at 200% trust. Ashlock is our first and currently only Fortress Defender. Being more offense focused, when not blocking any enemies, she uses splash attacks within this range. I'm not sure how obvious it is from the little drawing on screen, but there's her, 2 grids ahead where she won't attack, and then the 2 after that are her range. While at E2, she gains an extra little tile ahead of that as well. As a unit whose purpose is to deal damage, her talent already gives her a base attack boost, being plus 4% at E1 and 8% at E2. Her attack on the stat spreads show this value since there's literally no situation where she'll be without it. Although, if the 4 tiles around her are all ground tiles, the base boost will be by 8 and 16% instead. I'll be talking about her skills as if the second part of her talent is active, since it's pretty easy to place a unit somewhere like that, although the numbers for the base increase will also be on screen if you just want to know. That being said, her first skill is a basic attack boost, raising it by 60% for 30 seconds, leading it to go up to 1,325 at E1 max, or 1,698 at E2 max. Using a recently added enemy for reference, at E2, it would take 3 direct hits with this skill, which would happen over the span of 8.4 seconds, to kill a Dublin Shadowcaster. whereas it would take 5 hits without it. If she's blocking the enemy, that would just be it, but if it's distant, this would also affect the enemies in the area around the main one, albeit for less damage. I don't exactly recommend M3ing it since her skill 2 takes the cake in terms of output and her archetype utility, but in case you want to do it out of love, this will bring the attack increase up to plus 100%, making her attack be 2,122 at E2 max, still taking the same amount of hits and time to kill the enemy previously used as an example. Skill 2 gives her a much needed attack time decrease, reduce block count to 0 and only carry out ranged attacks. Makes sense considering her trait, reduce attack interval by 50% and increase attack by 40%. At E1 max, her attack is now 1,159 and 1,485 at E2 max. Now, still using the previous enemy as an example, it would take 4 hits to kill it since the attack increase isn't as large, but now it would take 5.6 seconds. Because of the reduced attack interval and the increased attack, her DPS is greatly increased with this skill, being 1060.7 compared to 606.4 with her first skill at level 7 and 379 with her basic stats at E2. While this only lasts 10 seconds, she can get in a total of 10,607 damage during it, compared to the 7,580 during the 20 seconds it takes to charge. M3ing this further reduces her attack interval, now being minus 65%, allowing her to attack once every 0.98 seconds. Having a plus 55% attack increase leads it to be 1,644, meaning her DPS for these 10 seconds is 1,677. Ashlock is an extremely interesting sounding unit, somewhere between an AoE sniper and a regular damage-focused defender. Her best placement is similar to how you'd use a ranged guard, behind another melee unit so you can use the full potential of her range and splash damage attributes. She really does seem like fun, and I'm super curious to see what a higher rarity variant of her archetype could offer.
レッドパイン騎士団所属、エンガ、ユスティナ。私のことはファートゥースって呼んで。ロドスのことも、君のことも噂に聞いてるよ、ドクター。
Fartooth is our newest Deadeye sniper, her archetype giving her a large range, as well as making her prioritize enemies with the lowest defense. She's also quite the controversial unit, but I'll get into that after. She does already have a module because of her archetype, but I don't know if it comes out as soon as she does. These stats aren't including the buffs from her module because I didn't know if I should or shouldn't. Do let me know what you think is best for future operators I may cover, but just so it can be known, it'll give her an extra 70 attack and 5 attack speed for stats, and the buff increases her attack up to 15% based on the distance of the target. As for the talents, they go hand in hand. The first one increases her attack by 10% at E1 when she hasn't taken any damage in 10 seconds, this resetting anytime she does. But at E2, as well as this attack increase going up to 15%, her taunt level is reduced, making it less likely for her to take damage and more likely to end up activating this buff. So when I talk about her skill numbers at E2, I'll only be mentioning them as if this is the case, since unless she's receiving splash damage or some other type of non-direct attack damage, it'll be the base. Also, it allows her to ignore an enemy's physical evasion, which is nice. Her first skill is an attack and attack speed increase by 34% and 35% respectively, which is honestly a little irritating. That's such a number. Why 34%? But anyways, this brings her attack interval down to 2 seconds, and at E1 max, her attack goes up to 1,447 or 1,593 when she's been unscathed for 10 seconds, and 1,997 at E2 max. As first skills go, it's a little basic. but that's normal. It lasts 35 seconds, allowing her to attack 17 times during this skill, compared to 14 in the 39 seconds it takes to charge. Her DPS at E2 going from 551 usually up to 998.5. M3ing it brings both her attack and attack speed up by 45% and 45, allowing her to attack with a value of 2,160 every 1.86 seconds, leading her DPS to be 1,161. Her second skill wasn't impressed with the attack speed increase from skill 1 and wanted to go faster. The skill name, Ally Support, explains it all. Fartooth has an attack speed increase of 90 and can attack enemies outside her range when they're blocked by allies. She can now attack every 1.42 seconds, and really the skill is similar-ish to Ambriel's in the sense that her range is now the whole map, but the enemies have to be blocked in order to be attacked, which means that this skill won't work for aerial enemies. While not increasing her actual attack, it's enough of a speed increase to bring her DPS up to 1,049, not that much less than it was with the buffs from skill 1. If you want to M3 it, that makes the increase plus 110, reducing her attack interval to 1.28 seconds, and bringing her DPS up to 1,164. Skill 3 is the most different from these. Her attack range changes to a straight line with an infinite range. Her attack is increased by 100%, and when she attacks an enemy that isn't in her default range, the damage dealt increases to 130%. This is very similar to Schwarz's boss killer skill, but less of a boss killer. When attacking enemies within her range, her attack will be 2,980, and if they're anywhere past those 4 initial grids, it'll be 3,874, respectively, granting her DPS values of 1,104 and 1,434 for the 17 seconds it lasts. Using Frost Nova Winter Scar as a boss killing example, it would take her 9 hits to kill her, or 24.3 seconds. But if there are any enemies with a lower defense within her long range, which isn't that hard, she'll prioritize killing them instead of the boss you want her to. M3ing this does pretty significantly increase the damage it does, making her attack increase be plus 140%, and the damage dealt to further enemies increase to 140% of that, meaning these attack values are now 3,575 and 5,006, the DPS being 1,324 and 1,850 respectively. Using Frost Nova again to compare, if she's further away, it'll take 7 attacks, 18.9 seconds to kill her. The skill now lasts 20 seconds and takes 20 seconds to activate, so if there's a lane where she could potentially be placed in a non-boss killing scenario, it could be used pretty consistently as a large attack boost. The issue people seem to find with this comes in with the fact that lots of units do similar things to this, and well, now I think I sort of have to talk about the controversy surrounding Fartooth. I'm a non-confrontational person, and even just doing this makes me feel like I'm poking a bear with a stick. But whenever I do a unit overview, I don't go much into my actual opinions on the unit. Even when I do say that they're objectively a great unit, I'm not telling you to go out and roll for them. It's kinda just a fact. And Fartooth is, like, the opposite of a power creep, whatever the name for that would be. Her second skill is essentially a lesser version of Ambriel's, which focuses on increasing her attack speed rather than just attack. And the fact that a 6-star has such a similar skill to a 4-star, but a skill that's worse, is, I mean, I guess it's bad? I don't know. I personally believe in 4-star supremacy. Like, it really sucks that we haven't gotten a 4-star in the gacha since Roberta. They're not bad units. I don't get why.
Okay, hello. Editing Void here, I guess. I think a combination of what I said about Roberta in the Salish video, and what I was talking about like right now manifested another gacha 4-star into existence because the Stormfront trailer came out, PV, and there's a new 4-star. His name is Chestnut. He's a wandering medic. Our second male medic since release. Wow, how crazy is that? Anyways, he's adorable and he's my son now. Like, legally, I have the adoption papers right here. And most importantly, he's a 4-star. Love to see it. Back to the video.
When it comes to generating DP, I'll always take Myrtle over Salish. When it comes to AoE medics, I'll always take Perfumer over anyone else, especially after her module. And if I want someone with a global range, I'd always take an Ambriel over a Fartooth. And who cares? Like, units are allowed to be bad or even just mediocre. If every single new 6-star we got was some groundbreaking. If every single new 6-star we got was some groundbreaking, meta-defining unit, that would honestly kinda suck. In cases like this, if you like a bad unit for their character or any other reason, go ahead and roll. All the more power to you. And if you don't, well, that's just an easy banner to skip where you don't end up questioning your decision down the line. There's a reason I don't categorize these videos as should you pull type ones, since that's not really the point that I'm trying to make with them. My personal stance is that if you like a unit and you know what you're doing with your savings, roll for them. Like, if tomorrow they came out with a 6-star called Blorbo Scrambles, who was on par with a 2-star and had no actual utility but you loved them, go ahead and roll. The same way I don't think you have to roll when a really great unit comes out who defines the new meta if you don't like their gameplay, character, or just think you'd never use them. And I'm saying that from experience. There's a pretty good amount of 6-stars I have that I've said great things about on this channel, are objectively really good units, but I've just never bothered to level up, either because I don't care for the character or they're not my type of gameplay, like the kind of thing I find fun, and that's fine. They're just sitting there. If there's ever a stage where I really need a unit like that, I'll just grab one from support. TLDR or TLDW, too long don't watch, TLDL, don't listen, I don't know. Is Fartooth good? Honestly, no. But does that matter? Also, no. It's your account, your random, your taste in gameplay and characters, and you can do whatever you want. I'm not here to stop you, and if you really love the character, no one else should. I feel like lots of people will be skipping this banner anyways, so that just means any possible luck they could have had will be redirected to you. Trust. I remember, mostly in the early days of Arknights, I'd say within the first 6 months of launch, not even up to a year, I don't think, lots of people would like to say there are no bad operators, just bad doctors. I mean, people still say that, but it used to be really common to hear back then. And, I mean, it's wrong for a couple different reasons. One, it sounds like if a unit isn't giving you a certain amount of output, you're just dumb and don't know how to use them correctly. And two, yes, there are bad operators, and that's completely fine. It's a game with tons of units, so some of them objectively won't be as good as others. Some of them might be pure trash, and that's fine. But the general sentiment behind the saying makes sense. Or I guess it's sort of hand in hand with waifu over meta. Just love who you love. Hashtag love wins. If you like a character, it doesn't matter. Roll for them if they're bad. Don't roll for them if they're good and you don't like them or think you wouldn't use them. This is why I need to script things. Honestly, I wrote like a couple paragraphs on this, and then I'm sort of just ad-libbing the rest, as you can very obviously tell.
So yeah, those are just my opinions on the matter, and they sort of do boil down to who cares at the end. But it's true. And I hope that wasn't too much of a downer to end on. I don't know how to transition to the end of the video, so let me just remind you how hyped I am for the Halloween skins, and nothing else matters to me. Anyways, if you're new here, feel free to stick around. I swear my thoughts are usually more cohesive than that last bit. Thank you very much for watching, and a special thanks goes out to Incognito Nuri, Readymare, and Dat Black Geek for supporting me on Patreon, which you too can do if you can afford it, want to, or would just like some art. That's all I have to say, and I'll see you another day.